As a family man, what's more all-American than taking your family on a backwoods adventure? So, I think we should take our marks, on a backwoods adventure for 1988's The Great Outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
So, with me, as always, as you heard from before, my co-host, Randy.
Hey, Marks.
And it's me, your good friend, Uncle Dew. To start us off, first off, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking the same thing as you are over there. What are we drinking?
Special Point Lager.
Point Lager.
From The Great Outdoors.
We had to celebrate, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Also, new little thing that you probably had no idea about because I'm throwing this brand new.
Yeah.
What have you been watching this past couple weeks? Anything memorable?
These past few weeks, well, we started on Netflix. There is the Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
So we did the Unsolved Mysteries. There's also the L.A. Homicide, which is a follow-up to the New York Homicide that they had. It's pretty great. And then Alone. We're watching Alone. And drum roll, because if I'm not mistaken, I think you're a very big fan of this show, but we just started it this week. New Girl.
Oh, fantastic.
After all these years, we finally started New Girl. And, dude, I dig it a lot. So, you're a big New Girl fan, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of our comfort shows.
I did not know that I would like it as much as I do.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Who's your character on there?
It's usually Nick, because
Mm-hmm.
there's some episodes you're going to get to that you're going to be like, okay, all right.
Okay. Yeah.
I really love some of Schmidt's shit.
Dude, he's ridiculous.
And then you're not exactly there yet, but Winston,
Oh, yeah.
you met Winston?
Yeah.
Winston gets a little bit unhinged.
I think he's already getting there a little bit.
So
we're breaking into season 2.
Okay,
So,
yeah. So unhinged Winston is like they all play off from each other so well.
They do. Yeah.
that it's like, okay, this is a good fucking cast.
But what about you? What are you watching?
I actually I'm watching a lot of old shit. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Donovan's Reef,
Oh.
1966.
Nice.
Duke Wayne and John Ford.
Uh-huh.
And then, because, you know me, I'm a TCM guy,
Mhm.
it was Cary Grant Day.
Oh, and you love Cary Grant.
I love Cary Grant.
Yeah.
He's probably my top 20 actors. So we were watching Father Goose, which was his second to last film. It's kind of cute. Back to his screwball comedy.
Never heard of it.
Leslie Caron is the female lead in that one.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. And then Operation Petticoat with Tony Curtis.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a long time.
So a lot of oldies for me.
Yeah,
Oh, and The Emperor's Club. When was the last time you saw The Emperor's Club with Kevin Kline?
Oh, God.
Emile Hirsch, young Paul Dano, very, very tiny, the guy who played Zuckerberg.
Did I see that with you in the Addison Theater?
Probably.
Yeah.
I dragged you.
They had the art house stuff there.
Right, I dragged you to that.
02, 03?
Yeah.
That's the last time I saw it.
So, yeah, we watched it the other night. It was on,
Wow.
like, Showtime or something. And I
It's a
said,
blast
"Right,
from the past, man.
You may like this." And she's like, okay. And so we watched it and goes, okay, I kind of liked it.
I might have to go back and watch it. Yeah.
So,
But outside of that, the things that we've been watching, The Great Outdoors.
The Great Outdoors. So, Great Outdoors, about a man takes his family to the Great North Woods, just to get back, because it's what families do in the Midwest, right? I know you used to go on family adventures, camping and whatnot. And
Oh, yeah.
the Dewis family, we were big camping adventure people.
Oh, yeah.
So this definitely hits very close to us.
Very much so. You can kind of see yourself in these characters, and it's kind of like some of the places even look familiar. Even though they're not. I mean, this was filmed in California, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, but still, they do a pretty darn good job of making it look like Wisconsin, and even some of the places, including the facade for A&W.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh yeah, I've probably been to a place just like that.
Right.
So it did feel homey.
So this was directed by Howard Deitch. This is his third film with John Hughes written.
Yep.
third film with John Hughes. Howard Deutsch, fun fact, Mr. Leah Thompson.
Yep, I know that. And their daughter, Maddie Deutsch, she's been in some things.
Yeah.
And she's great. You know, she's a pretty likable little actress. I think she does a great job.
So he's Mr. Marty McFly's mom.
Yeah, that's right. But it's funny because they probably met on the second, his second venture with John Hughes, Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's where they met. Not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure. And dude, that movie, all three of the John Hughes, Howard Deutsch projects, they hit so hard. Man.
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful, Great Outdoors. I mean, whoa.
I'm gonna say some very, very probably controversial. I like Some Kind of Wonderful over Pretty in Pink.
You know, I do too.
Because it's the same fucking story.
Pretty much. But for some reason, it just worked, right?
Right.
You know, that it was just different enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I do too. And Some Kind of Wonderful, it felt underground.
Yeah.
Almost. You know, because the other Hughes 80s movies felt just so over the top. You know, where it's like you got your 16 Candles, you got your Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you got your Breakfast Club, you got your Weird Science. These are such popular movies that Pretty in Pink started to feel a little underground.
Sure.
And then Some Kind of Wonderful just really went deep underground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so by the time I discovered that, I was early teens.
Yeah.
And I was like, this movie's awesome. Who did this movie? Oh, go figure. John Hughes. So, but I think that it's unique that Howard Deutsch did those three because they all have a different feel. Right?
They really do, yeah.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink it's kind of almost like a pop punk kind of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some Kind of Wonderful is, I don't even know how to explain it.
It's gritty.
It's a gritty one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then The Great Outdoors is just fucking fun.
Family fun.
So
like,
yeah.
As most everybody has probably fallen into The Great Outdoors, is you usually watched it with your family because they absolutely loved it as well.
I remember it being on so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And all the adults loved it, probably because they could relate to it just as we can now.
Sure.
And like the raccoons part and whatever. I remember at least twice when I was camping when we were younger, raccoons getting into our shit. You know? And it's like, oh, we can all relate to that.
Right.
Ha ha ha, that's funny. And I mean, this movie is so relatable, and it's just, I have a note about that with John Hughes later on. Yeah. I'll get to it. But dude, yeah, what a resume Howard Deutsch has.
So was actually profitable, but even more successful in the rental premium movie channel market. So it found its legs on HBO and where probably you and I caught it taped off of a tape or a rental, you know.
One of those VHS tapes that was recorded with a label on there that had at least 3 movies on it.
Let's start this off like how we usually. What's our first mark that we usually talk about? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, so, you know, the hits here. So my first note is that it's fun from the first music cue.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, even before the credits, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, this is fun. And then you see Candy and family singing in the car. Yakety yak.
Who doesn't sing yakety yak?
I mean, it's such a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like it's a Hughes trope a little bit.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the kind of the singing in the car or, you know, Macaulay in Home Alone in the bathroom, like singing along to a well-known song. And it's just fun.
What surprises me about it is a small, unassuming family movie. And John Hughes knows how to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
The just unassuming sort of situation. Because if you look at the movie as a whole, you have your heavy hitters with Candy and Aykroyd, but the rest of the cast, like, this is Annette Bening's first film.
Isn't that crazy?
I always forget that it's her.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Annette Bening.
I mean, she does a great job. You know, I mean, she plays that character to a T. And you hate her.
Right. So let's talk about the rest of the cast because holy shit. You and I are Candy fans. Like, John Candy could have done no wrong, right?
Oh, never. No. Yeah. He's never done anything wrong in his whole life.
The comedy, yes, there's over-the-top comedy in here, but I think my favorite moments with him are the subtle moments of his comedic timing. Like, when he goes to blow the horn when they're to get an attention.
For prompt service, blow me.
Yeah, for prompt service, blow me. He first starts and he blows it, and he's like, how do you go? Okay. And then he does this head tilt like he's this master saxophonist and just wails on it.
Yeah.
It's the head tilt that gets me laughing every time. The first one, he's just testing it out. The second one, he's like, okay, I've got some chutzpah on this. And
oh, absolutely.
And then when they're grilling the lobster tails, he spills salt on himself. He's fucking with something. And he spills, like, seasoning all down his shirt. And he's like...
Oh, my God.
His subtle comedic timing. Like, yeah, you're having a good time with this movie. Mm-hmm. But those small little instances make you fall in love with him.
You're kind of right, though. It's a little bit different. It's sort of like a... reversal for Candy and Aykroyd. Because Aykroyd, for the most part, he kind of plays the straight man a lot.
Right.
And in this one, he gets to, like, really amp up. And Candy is... He plays the straight man, too. But he's done the more ridiculous roles before. Right. But to see Aykroyd in a little bit more amped up of a role is different. And he kills it.
That fucking laugh. That fucking laugh.
Yeah.
Is, like... Aykroyd knows what his job is, and he gets it. He gets it every time. Like, and he's just slimy. So we watched this as kids as well, right?
Yeah.
Was your favorite part as a kid the raccoon parts?
No, I think that my favorite part was the skiing.
Okay.
Where he's on the skis. I'd say that probably stood out to me the most as a kid, and I just thought, and I still, I laugh every time I see it. So that was one of my favorite parts. Let me think of some more. Why? What about you?
So raccoon parts are some of my favorites, but I wrote down like my 3 favorite quotes.
Okay.
And you said the skiing part.
Yeah.
And my first quote that I wrote down, that's one of my favorites, is that, now if you meet any friends, bring them back. We'll give them a ride and suck my wake.
What? It's a great line.
And then when they're going to get the boat, and John Candy goes to get hot dogs, mind you, right across, there's a hot dog cart right across the street from the A&W, which also sells chili dogs and hot dogs.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So if I was A&W, I'd be like, why you got my hot dog?
But that's why I said at the beginning that's a facade, because they put the A&W on whatever restaurant it was. So it probably wasn't a real hot dog stand, but it could have been. Who knows? So
he goes, 4 chili dogs and 2 plain.
That's 6 hot dogs.
That's 6 hot dogs. That's for everybody.
I still quote that with my mother to this day. No matter what we order, we'll correct it and be like, oh, that's this amount. It's for everybody, and I'm hungry. So that's a quotable Kirk thing. So I'm in with you on that, buddy. I love that. I didn't know that was one of your quotes.
Yeah.
Dude. Yes. Love that quote, man.
The suck my wake. Just every time you meet any friends, you bring them back.
Love it. I'm sure that was a real name for a real boat. Yeah.
And it's the way he says it, it's so subtle. It really is. Like he didn't play it for big laughs. It's the end of the scene.
Yeah.
And like you're just getting to the next part of it because you're like, okay, they're gonna go ski. But like it's just it's a perfect little cherry. Every scene has a perfect little cherry, no matter like what's happening.
It's true.
And that's what makes this movie so great.
It's fun from the first minute into the movie. The characters, at least for me, are so developed. Like, you know exactly who these people are within minutes.
Yeah.
You know exactly where John Candy's coming from. You know the kind of guy that he is. You know what kind of family man he is. So, and then of course you see Aykroyd with his crew, and you know exactly the kind of asshole that he is.
Right.
Because there's probably one of those in every family. There's a John Candy in every family, and there's a Chet and there's a Roman in every single family. So, you kind of know these people already, which makes it a whole lot of fun. So are you a Chet or a Roman guy?
Oh, I'm a Chet guy.
I figured.
100%.
That was a silly question on my part. It just, I guess
lets our listeners know too.
Yeah, they know now. But I figure, we're both Chet guys.
Yeah.
But I do think that Aykroyd just nailed this part.
Oh, He wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. It was Hughes liked
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase and John Candy so much in Vacation that he wanted them again, but Chevy Chase got Funny Farm.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't do it, and then he wanted Bill Murray, and Bill Murray was like not doing films. And so
Oh, yeah.
And so Candy was actually like, "Hey, my buddy Danny, I think he'd be great for this. Let's give him a try." And Hughes was like, "All right, sounds good, whatever."
They played off so well.
It really was.
Yeah. Also, Wally, Robert Prosky.
Oh.
Such a real character.
Second favorite line in that movie.
Which is?
Loves porcupines, hates people. She's in heat too.
Too bad you're not a dog.
Too bad you're not a dog. Loves porcupines, hates people. She's in heat too.
He's got some really great lines, and he's another one that is just super relatable. Like, everybody's probably met a guy like Wally in their lives.
Well, and it's crazy how many character actors they had in this.
Yeah.
Because Wally's been in everything. Like, he's played Santa Claus before.
Right.
And, like, he was in the remake of Miracle on 34th Street.
Yep.
Like Wally, the guy who played Wally, he gets some of the best lines as well.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, look at the outfit you're wearing. Oh, the pants riding up my crack."
That, and also, you might get the shits from the wall water. I think that's such a real line. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Speaking of the relatability, I would love to know more about John Hughes, who he was in real life.
Yeah.
I think that there might have been a documentary about him that I never saw. I don't know how I never did, but I never did. But there doesn't seem to be a single type of person that he can't relate to.
Right.
He can write kids. He can write teenagers. He can write adults. He can write rich people. He can write poor people. There's not anybody that he seemingly can't relate to. And it's unbelievable to me. That's such a gift.
And it's so funny. He's like, "Oh yeah, I went on a vacation with my family. I'm gonna write a movie about that." Like,
right.
It's insane. Like,
it is.
Like, everything that he's drawn inspiration from in the past, all of his movies are all something he's like, "Oh yeah, I know how that felt like," or this is what we did during this situation. This is how we're gonna write it. And it amazes me just how he might be one of the most successful writers in Hollywood in the way of popularity.
Well, it's a popularity thing, but also it might be financial. Because, dude, he churned them out in the 80s and into the 90s. He was just pumping movie out after movie out.
Like, how many people say, like, Home Alone's their favorite Christmas movie?
Right.
Or, like, how... Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Like,
or that sappy teen 80s thing where it's like anybody at any time could say Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles or Ferris Bueller's Day Off or, any of these like cheesy teenage comedies.
Well, and you just look at how many times like AMC or IFC or any of those owned by Viacom, they're playing any one of those every weekend.
Yeah.
Even vacation movies.
And then, of course, the creme de la creme, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Right.
Where you're talking about Home Alone being, the favorite Christmas, which Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I think you are also the same way, but there will not be a Thanksgiving that ever goes by that we don't play Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
It's no secret that we live in the Chicagoland area. And it used to be a staple on WGN every Thanksgiving night. WGN would play Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, just like whomever. I think PBS used to play "It's a Wonderful Life" on Christmas Eve. Yeah. Planes, Trains is on WGN on Thanksgiving.
But that's a heavy family drama.
Yeah,
and then Hughes can write this funny, quirky family comedy. He can write Home Alone. He can write a movie about a girl's family forgetting her 16th birthday. And it's like, who are you, John Hughes? God, I need to know more about
Well, and Gone Too Soon, too.
Right.
He unfortunately passed, 50s, 60s?
Yeah, no, not 60. He was definitely in his 50s.
Yeah.
And, way, way too young.
Way too young.
I wonder, because I think he would have had a comeback. I know he kind of, I'm not going to be... Because I was going to say floundered, but that's disrespectful. He kind of
Stagnated.
lost. Yeah, stagnated is a good word, I guess, because he
Who doesn't like Curly Sue?
I don't. So it hurts me to say it because as a kid, my sister and I we used to watch Curly Sue a good amount, and we loved it. You know? And I had a lot of fun watching it when I was a kid, but then we watched it in the last 10 years. Yeah. And it doesn't hold up.
No, absolutely not, which is rare for
Was that sarcasm on your end?
No. It does not hold up.
Oh, no. I meant you were like, who doesn't love Curly Sue?
Oh, yeah, that was sarcasm, yeah.
Because, I watched it in the last 10 years, and I was like, really? Yeah. Because I remember it being so wholesome, fun, cute. And to me, it just wasn't. And that is really where he kind of started to go, because I know he did Beethoven.
Oh, yeah.
And then he did Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
He did Baby's Day Out.
Oh.
And then it was like, where are you going with this, John Hughes? Yeah. You know, because
he's just churning him out to churn him out.
Basically, you know, getting a paycheck. And then I'd have to fact check this. But I'll just say it anyway.
God, that's a bad movie.
But I'm pretty positive that the last movie that he got screenwriting credit for was Made in Manhattan, the Jennifer Lopez movie.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Oof.
If that's false, I'll just go out.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so he definitely. Oh, and 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah.
You know, so he did that, and you know, it's just obviously successful. You know, he was making money doing it. Maybe that's all that was important to him at the time. I don't know. But in the 80s, he was just such a gunslinger. Right. It's like, I'm going to make a name for myself doing whatever I can do. And everything that he did, not only was it popular, not only was it successful, but it was damn good.
Right.
Oh, I'm so impressed by the guy. Anyway, sorry. We'll get off that, John Hughes.
Other real star of the movie?
Yeah.
The old 96er.
That's a big piece of meat, yeah.
96 ounces of round cut middle, which... If was real, would just be tough and tasteless, because the way it's cut and the type of meat that it is, it's just all muscle. And so, my question to you is, what's the most steak you've ever eaten in one sitting?
Ooh, one sitting. I would probably say somewhere in the ballpark of 8 to 10 ounces.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's in one sitting, 8 to 10 ounces. What about you?
Well, in my bigger days, were you with us when I used to take you to one of my favorite steak joints?
The one in Marengo?
In Union Marengo there?
Union Marengo, yeah.
The Travel America.
You bet I was. Yeah.
Truck stop?
Yeah.
Where it was all you could eat steaks?
Oh, hell yeah. And it was good steak.
So at one point in time, I packed 4 of those bad boys away, and those are about 8, 10-ounce steaks.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe I need to retract, because I probably put down 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I did.
But in my bigger days, I could pack them away. But as of late, I think I had a 16-ounce, which is a pound of meat, mind you.
Right. Yeah.
16-ounce prime rib cut. One of those king cuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last time, and I didn't finish that. Absolutely not. But like, how remarkable and how appealing, even though that it's not feasible. There's no way.
No.
That's gonna taste anywhere as good as they make it seem to taste. That 96-ounce steak is gonna be like. But how great was that?
I mean, right, yeah, that's a legit 6 pounds of meat. It's a lot of food, but dude, how long? And it does look delicious. I guess I'll just add. So we've kind of talked about Hughes' filmography here. How do you think that The Great Outdoors compares to other John Hughes movies?
I think it gets left at the wayside because it was one of those situations where it was lesser known. It was later in life in his career. 88 is in the waning days of the 80s.
Yeah.
Not quite his peak there. But Great Outdoors, I think it's lesser. But for me personally, I think it's probably in my top 5 John Hughes.
Yeah. It's definitely in my top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely, you were talking about those waning days there, and thinking back on the John Hughes stuff, he really, I don't want to say recycled, because that's not the right term, but where like we're talking about Some Kind of Wonderful and Pretty in Pink, and they're very similar stories. And then you've got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Dutch, and those are very similar stories.
Very, very similar stories.
And he did the teen comedies that he's done. Like there's similar elements in them and whatnot.
The vacation movies are the same movie over and over again.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that he should get crap for European.
Yeah.
I don't think he was as involved in that. I think they were using his name to kind of elevate the movie a little bit. But for me, Vacation proper and Christmas Vacation. Oh,
yeah.
Those are the ones.
Christmas Vacation is always a staple at our house.
And he didn't write Vegas, did he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But either way, so yeah, I just wanted to know that. And then,
did he do Trading Places, or was that Ivan Reitman?
That was Reitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just actually Trading Places was same year as Vacation, I think. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, he was just kind of getting his start. He was becoming better known at that point.
I feel bad for, like, Stephanie Farsi, who plays Connie.
Okay. Why is that?
Because, like, here she is. She's playing off, and she does a fantastic job, right? She's the mom, right? But, like, after this movie, she just bit part after bit part after bit part,
Yeah, and maybe it was because of the lack of success or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Also, I'm just doing a quick little fact check on IMDb, and I'm a little bit bummed that I forgot about it, even though I haven't seen it since 2008. But I said that his last screenwriting credit was Made in Manhattan. It wasn't. It was Drillbit Taylor.
Drillbit fucking Taylor. How many people are like, that's my favorite John Hughes movie, Drillbit Taylor.
Right. Yeah.
That Owen Wilson vehicle. And
to be fair, I mean, he's getting story credit, I think. But credit nonetheless for Made in Manhattan. And I think it's the same way. I think, and he was writing under the guise of Edmond Dantes.
Oh, yeah, the Edmond Dantes movies.
So as far as I know, I think he was just getting story credit for those. So before that, like full-on screenwriting credit for Hughes, a movie called Just Visiting.
Oh yeah, it's Christina Applegate.
Okay.
And I can't remember who the male lead is. And it's a time travel movie. It's absolutely shit.
But he did Home Alone 3, Flubber, 101 Dalmatians,
Miracle on 34th
Street.
Had a Disney run, Flubber and 101 Dalmatians.
And Dennis how could I forget Dennis the Menace?
Oh,
what a classic. I love Dennis the Menace.
I don't know where I'm scared more of Christopher Lloyd, Dennis the Menace, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Dennis the Menace for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I guess going back to some of the characters, we talked about Wally a little bit. Reg with the lightning hair. Dude, I mean, right. 66. I just think about John Hughes and his relatability. Like, did he meet somebody like this? Like, how do you just come up with that?
It would be a real funny thing. It's just a guy with a skunky head and he got hit in the head with lightning.
Right.
66.
Sort of a neo-skunk thing going on there. Yeah. So let me...
do you want my third favorite line?
I do.
Okay.
Hit me.
Are you kissing him or calling him?
That's you like that one, huh?
Yeah, where they're chasing the bat.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. See, now mine, it's a little bit, not safe for work or what have you. But I would say my favorite line out of the entire movie is probably, I got to introduce Mr. Thick Dick to Mr. Urinal Cake. Yeah. And dude, it's just as funny now as it was the first time I heard it. It's probably my favorite line of the whole movie.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about continuity within the film.
Okay. Because
it seems like there's a lot of stuff that could have been left on the floor. Because in the trailer, we get a whole scene where Dan Aykroyd is talking to a stuffed moose.
Okay.
And
I know, I'd like to see more of that scene, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another scene with John Candy, and he's doing something alternative too that's doesn't show up in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very end of the movie, we get the Land of a Thousand Dances, Wilson Pickett, where they're all dancing and whatnot. But if you go earlier to the old man, the oldest man in Canada, you hear A Land of a Thousand Dances playing in the background there.
Different version, right?
The other one's Muzak, but you can hear it. It's kind of clearly there.
Okay.
But I'm like, were they supposed to be tied together? And you can see Chet and Roman are wearing the same clothes as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So not exactly sure what was going on there, but I definitely would love to see the cutting room floor.
Yeah, me too. Well, I only really have one more question for you.
Okay.
And it's, do you think, you were talking about like maybe not having the lasting impact back then, but how do you think The Great Outdoors holds up today?
I think this is the family unit. This is the family time that everybody wants now. Yeah. They wish they can have this Great North adventure where not everybody was on a cell phone. Like when they're sitting in they're all playing Monopoly.
Yeah.
Or they're eating popcorn, or they're making sandwiches. Nobody's on a phone. The creepy twins aren't on a tablet. They go get lost in a mine, for fuck's sake. Yeah. That isn't what this world is anymore. And I think a lot of people miss that. You
know, you're right, because Connie, that scene where Connie's making the sandwiches, and I mean, you know, our generation, we've all seen that. You know, they are making, but now today's generation, it's like, oh, we're gonna go get Chick-fil-A, or we're gonna, you know, whatever. So I do think that it's kind of a bygone era. Yeah,
and I think that nostalgia, that want for that simplicity, that easy.
Yeah,
I think that's more prevalent now than it ever has been.
Okay.
Because, man, what would I give to go back to 1988 to an A&W root beer stand and a fun little arcade, you know? Like, when you went on family vacations like that and you were Buck's age, like, that's what you were trying to do. You were trying to find a summer vacation girlfriend.
Right.
You know? I know that's exactly what I was doing.
That's all you wanted to do. You know, because, like, you're like too young and too old.
Right.
You know, you're too young to kind of go out and do the nightlife kind of thing, and then you're too old to, you know, want to have fun with the kids on the lake or whatever. Right. So, yeah, it is a weird time, and John Hughes, go figure, wrote it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right on that. But again, it all goes back to that relatability.
So, is there anything in this movie that misses the mark?
Ooh, I'm so glad. We just went down a John Hughes rabbit hole. We did. We got way off this movie marks thing. So, honestly, if I'm being honest, there might be a few pacing issues.
Sure.
It really only hits after it's after the first half. It's if you go into the third act of the movie, really.
Yeah.
Is where it really starts to kind of drag just a little bit. It's after they kind of come back, you know, Roman gets the check from Chet.
Yeah.
And they drive, and then they go turn around, and then the girls go into the bear cave, and, you know, it's like, it ends up being kind of like, okay, a little hokey now.
Here's the adventure that we have to put in finally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just to get to that happy ending where, hey, he's going to beat us home, you know. So there's a little bit of a pacing thing, but it's still, that's the only missed mark for me. Because even during that pacing problem, I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
I'm still laughing. I still care about these people. So, yeah, for me, that's the only one thing. Just a few minor pacing things.
Yeah.
What about you? Any missed marks?
That's probably the same thing. Like, there's some funny lines during the horse ride, but we don't need the horse.
No, you really do. That's just the fun and games part. And,
right.
You know,
we already have them annoyed with each other.
Yeah.
In, you know, the boats, we have him doing the go-karts, and he gets hit in the head, and like we've already seen how annoyed Chet is with Roman.
Again, you get some good lines in there, though.
That is true.
He's like, "Where's the nag? Oh, you got hungry and you had to eat the nag."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just funny, like dumb stuff.
Ball slapping nag.
The ball slapping nag. Oh, man. But, yeah, I did. The only last point that I had on here was about Point Beer.
Yeah.
Funny enough, in which we're drinking now. So,
yeah,
and also you supplied the Point Beer, so thank you very much for bringing that.
absolutely. We had to enjoy the Great North Woods with a Great North Woods beer, because how funny is that it's actual. Like, I love little details like that. Yeah, it may not have been. I mean, it's John Hughes. There is no Shermer, Illinois.
Right.
There is no Potawatomi.
Right. But I do think that attention to detail is great. Where we're making a makeshift A&W or putting the Point Beer signs throughout whatever restaurant or whatever in California.
I still go to A&W nowadays.
Oh, dude. Oh, I found one, by the way.
Yeah.
Where were we? I don't know. You said that you thought that the closest one was somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I found going somewhere else. It was going down to like Naperville.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh shit, there's an A&W right here.
Oh,
so, dude,
so you did find it closer than
I found closer.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to go to an A&W. Man.
Oh, did you get it blended or regular?
No, we didn't go. We just drove past it.
Oh, you just drove past it.
Yeah, we just drove past. But
the treat of the summer for the Dewises has been a root beer float.
Oh hell yeah! Dude,
every chance we've gotten, we've picked up a root beer float.
I want a burger, some of the cheese curds, and a root beer float. Yeah, sounds good. But on that note, buddy, hey, thank you so much for bringing the great outdoors. This one, I mean, I'll talk about this movie anytime. So
100%. So if you want to reach out, let us know. Have you seen The Great Outdoors before? Did you like it just as much as we did? What's your favorite line from the movie? Check us out on our Spotify, on our YouTube. Comment and like it. On our Facebook. Let's get some engagement up. Our Instagram.
Yeah.
We're gonna put some polls up. We may want you to join us to come and talk to us about a movie that hits your marks, you know?
Yeah, no, we'll be more engaged.
Shit, we could even do movies that doesn't hit your mark.
Oh, like, for sure.
A movie you fucking hate.
Bring a movie that you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. So yeah, we'll hit up on the socials a little bit. Try to engage a little bit more with things that your favorite quotes, your favorite characters, and then of course if you'd like to guest on the podcast in the future, because I'm really enjoying this. I hope you are too, buddy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I hope all of our listeners are. Just love talking movies, and I hope you're all enjoying listening.
We'll see you guys soon, real soon.